For today's story, boys and girls, we meet the hero and adventurer Lemminkäinen and his wife Kyllikki in their lovely home in Finland. "The salmon are rising in the Koskenkorva," remarked Lemminkäinen. "I thought I'd go and try my luck." "Well, why don't you then?" said Kyllikki brightly. "There's nothing in the cupboard except a can of pea soup, and that's past its sell-by date." "Will you be all right on your own, darling?" asked Lemminkäinen. "Of course I will, darling," replied Kyllikki brightly. "I'll just watch Kauniit ja rohkeat and have an early night." So Lemminkäinen went out the front door, clutching his rod in his hand. Kyllikki rushed upstairs. She put on her fishnet tights, her briefest miniskirt, her sequin-studded low-cut gown and her Jimmy Choos, and jumped on the number 4 tram to the Lemminkäinen. Now the Lemminkäinen, as you all know, is pretty much infested with toy boys, sugar daddies, granny grabbers and the like. And Kyllikki spent the whole evening dancing tangos, humpers and yankers with all of them, eventually crawling home exhausted at 3:30 in the morning. Lemminkäinen was there with a face like thunder. "Where the hell have you been?" he demanded. Oh, I just had to pop out," stammered Kyllikki, "to get some pima. We run out." "Don't lie," said Lemminkäinen. "You've been to the Lemminkäinen again, haven't you? I told you to stay away from that den of vice." "Well, I was lonely, Lemmy darling," said Kyllikki, putting her arms round his neck and leaning on him heavily. "And I just wanted to have a little twirl." "Oh, for goodness sake, go to bed and sleep it off," said Lemminkäinen. "You stink of salmiakki, Kossu. I'll decide what to do in the morning." Later this morning, he corrected himself, looking at his watch. So he decided. He took a train up north and demanded an audience with the Witch of the North. "Oh, it's you," said the witch. "What do you want?" "And a very good afternoon to you, Lauhi," said Lemminkäinen. "Hm," said the witch. "I say, Lauhi," continued Lemminkäinen, "have you ever thought of doing something about your gap? We've got a very good dentist down south, right opposite Stockman's. She could fix you up with a new crown in a jiffy. Of course she's expensive, but you could afford it now you've got the Sampo." "Stop wittering, Lemminkäinen," said the witch. "You didn't come all this way to talk about my teeth. You never come here unless you want anything, so what is it?" "I want to marry one of your daughters," said Lemminkäinen. "It needn't be one of the tall, pretty ones. A short, ugly one will do. As long as she's not too short and too ugly, of course. Shall we say one of medium height and medium—" "You're wittering again, Lemminkäinen," said the witch. And as far as I remember, you've got a perfectly good wife already." "Oh, I'm fed up with her," said Lemminkäinen. Only last night she went—" "I don't care where she went," said the witch. "It was probably to get away from you. And anyway, I'm not going to marry any of my daughters to a worthless wastrel like you." "I'm not a wasteless worthless," protested Lemminkäinen. "Give me strength," muttered the witch. "All right then, Lemminkäinen," she said. "If you want to marry one of my daughters, you must prove yourself worthy. Go and catch the elk of Hiisi." "Is that the monstrous elk that's 16 feet high?" asked Lemminkäinen. "That's right." "The one that breathes fire out of its nostrils?" "Right again," said the witch. "But it's the middle of winter," said Lemminkäinen. "Well, you'll just have to get some skis, won't you?" "All right then," said Lemminkäinen. "I will." Now Lemminkäinen was never one to refuse a challenge. Or possibly he was too stupid to realise the witch was sending him on a mission that would probably end in his death. But anyway, he went to Skis R Us and bought the best pair in the shop. Then he went off over the trackless northern wastes to search for the elk of Hiisi. Now, you could write a very long poem about Lemminkäinen's travels over the trackless wastes of the north in search of the elk. In fact, someone already has. But to tell the truth, 1 square kilometre of trackless wastes looks very much like another. That's rather the point of trackless wastes. So let's skip all that and say that Lemminkäinen actually caught the elk. He built a corral of birch branches and tethered the elk in there. Well, that's a good job done, he said. What I could do with right now is a shag. I think I'll go down to that village over there and see if any of the local maidens are up for it. This outraged the puritanically minded elk. Shag? Shag, it shouted. Law, he sent you the task of catching me to prove yourself worthy to marry her daughter, and all you can think about is bonking some tart. Oh, shut up, elk, said Lemminkäinen. I don't see what it's got to do with you. Anyway, you're just jealous because there's no lady elks round here. I am a lady elk, as it happens, shouted the elk. You've been chasing me for weeks over the trackless northern wastes, looking at my hindquarters, and are you saying you never even noticed? Well, to tell you the truth, said Lemminkäinen, I'm not really interested in elk's bits. I know some fellows are, and fair play to them if that's what they like, but as for me, I'd much rather... Oh, stop wittering, Lemminkäinen, shouted the elk, and with a bellow of rage, it broke down the corral and rushed away. Lemminkäinen hastily strapped on his skis and set off after the elk, but unfortunately he was clumsy and broke the skis. So there we must leave it for this week. Lemminkäinen is in the middle of the trackless wastes with his broken skis, watching the elk disappear over the horizon. So what does he do? Does he buy some new skis and resume the chase? Or does he have the sense to go back down south and patch things up with Kyllikki? Come back next week and find out.